Through the generous contribution of Dr. Lewis's family, we're very fortunate to be able to share with you these timeless recordings of Dr. M. W. Lewis, a self-realized American yogi. Dr. Lewis was Paramahansa Yogananda's first American disciple and dearest personal friend. The wisdom Dr. Lewis imparts through these teachings will give you a dynamic and practical insight into the ancient science of yoga as taught by Paramahansa Yogananda. This lecture's title is Claiming Your Divine Birthright and was recorded on March 22, 1953.
The subject this morning is claiming your divine birthright. Claiming your divine birthright. Everyone who looks within and feels through the intuition of their soul realizes that this life, with its paradoxes, its dualities of consciousness, is not what they really are. There is something within them, their divine birthright. And everyone who has met a saint, or even reads about the saints, everyone realizes that this outer life is not the reality. We have within us a divine part which is our birthright. And also, everyone who reads any of the scriptures will find there many instances referring to the fact that we are not this body, this outward consciousness, but we are the eternal consciousness of God which is within us, His omniscience. That is our birthright. And so to thoroughly establish this in our minds and remove all doubt as to what we really are, I want first to read one or two references from the Bible concerning our divine birthright. First, in Genesis, 27th verse, first chapter. So God created man in His own image. In the image of God created He him. There is our divine birthright. Our divine birthright is oneness with God, oneness with His omniscience. In Proverbs, the 8th chapter, 22nd and 23rd verses, this is most beautiful. The Lord possessed me in the beginning of His way, before His works of old. I was set up from everlasting, from the beginning, or ever the earth was. In other words, we were with God. That's our birthright, oneness with His omniscience. The divine remembrance of our oneness with God is there. We simply have to uncover it. And then in St. John, the 17th chapter, the 24th verse. For thou lovest me before the foundation of the world. Before any creation was, we were one in the omniscience and love of God. And perhaps the greatest reference in the Bible is this. In the 82nd Psalm, the 6th verse, I have said ye are God. And all of you are children of the Most High. And so there should be no question as to our divine birthright. Jesus said the same thing. He said that we are one with God, just as I am one with my Father, He said. And in St. John, the 14th chapter, the 12th verse, we read His words, Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me, the works that I do, he shall do also. And greater works than these shall he do, because I go to my Father. As He left the body, which is the vehicle of Christ consciousness, He merged in His divine birthright, God the Father. And as He said, ye shall do greater things, so each one of us has that divine birthright of oneness with God the Father. And in St. John, the 16th chapter, the 28th verse, I came from the Father and am come into the world. Again, I leave the world and go to the Father. His manifestation was in the world, just like our manifestation is in the world. But behind that is his reality, his divine birthright, oneness with God the Father. And as Jesus was one with him, so each and every one of us is one with God the Father. And so there should be no more doubt now as to what the reality is. It is the divine consciousness within us. That's our birthright. The divine intelligence within us as the Trinity,